What's up, Nate?
What's up, man?
How are you?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you? Inside of Starbucks?
I am. I do all my interviews inside of a Starbucks.
Jesus Christ!
And I let them all hear it.
Yeah, I see that. How much?
Like I never thought about it. I'm at home. This is my office. But
that's beautiful.
But that is very funny that It does look like it could be Starbucks.
Yeah, those are coffee beans from around the world posters. Nate's like, hey, we're gonna do this podcast. Let me call you from Starbucks. I get about an hour to kill in the corner.
Have you ever seen someone talk like that loud at a?
It's ridiculous.
100%. Okay, so I used to go to Coffee Bean every day, basically. You remember that, Trey? I used to be at Coffee Bean on Coldwater and Ventura. It's gone now due to COVID. It was like this popular hangout, man. Eddie Murphy came every day for one cup of coffee, just one cup of coffee, black cup of coffee. He always pulled up in his rolls. Everyone used to hang out there and drink. And there was always this one guy, Nate, that pulled up right next to us where we sat down. And he would grab two chairs and two tables, and he put them together. And he didn't give a shit that anyone else wanted to sit down and eat or have coffee. And he'd open up his briefcase. I swear to God, open up his briefcase, pencils, and Nestle's Quick. This guy's in his late 60s, early 70s. Nestle's Quick. He'd buy a cup of coffee, and he'd take a scoop of Nestle's Quick, and he'd stir it in there, and he'd be there for at least 6-7 hours. And just as if it was his fucking office, man. Every day, clockwork. That's what he did. And no one said anything. One of those old guys.
Yeah. They don't bother me as much as the guys that talk like really loud industry talk in Starbucks. You know what I mean?
I hate that. Yeah. You know what trumps loud industry talk? When you talk just as loud about absolutely fucking nothing. and then they give you that look like, we're important, right? This is industry talk.
There's times with that. I would love if you could ever go up to the person talking loud and be like, and then find out who they're talking on the phone and go, look, I would love, because I was just talking to my wife and they're like, I think there's a lot of times people talk and they're absolutely saying nothing to each other.
Nothing. Absolutely.
And you want to stop it.
Yes.
And go like, hey, can I grab both of y'all? And I just want to, what are you guys? Let's go through what you guys, I've seen, I know guys that laugh really big. It's almost like they do it uncomfortable. And I always want to stop and go, hey, just tell me what was funny, because I don't think there was nothing funny.
There was
anything. You're just making noises.
Yes.
But I would love to break down, truly break down.
Yes.
What they are.
Yes. It's kind of like a Dr. Phil meets everyday conversation. It's just like, hey, I got to pull you to the side. I call bullshit. Nothing's funny. Let's break this down. What was the conversation?
Yes.
And then at the end, we're like, you were a fucking liar. There was nothing funny.
And if it's that funny, you're like, I'd like to be in on that, right? Like, if it's that
I'll join you.
funny.
I'll join you. I'll help you write it. So it has tags. So I'll make sure that it has a life.
Yeah. Wait, as comedians, I can tell you nothing is never that funny.
Never.
The ones that laugh like that hard, you're like, I'm around the funniest people in the world. Yep. And I promise you, nothing's that not
that funny, bro.
Not that funny. Nothing's that funny.
And I'm here at Starbucks all the time, and I know it's not that funny, buddy. Yeah. I've seen lots of conversations. You know what else I hate, Nate? Well, I miss it now because I'm not on a plane anymore. But the guy that sets up office in first class on the tarmac before we even back out onto the runway, he's already in a full-on fucking business conference meeting. It's by the way, we're flying back from New York to the West Coast, so. Who are you waking up?
Yeah.
Who are you waking up that your call's out for? If it's 6 o'clock in the morning in New York, then what time is it that you're talking to this person on the West Coast? Is 3 a.m.? You think this guy wants to have a conference call with you? Get the fuck out of here, dude. I hate that.
You maybe say at 3 a.m. I remember being in New York, in cabs, they would always be on the phone. And you're like, who are you talking to? Who is like for 2 hours? You're in like, and they never stop talking. And you're like, oh, what friend? This is the most friend you have.
This is the most loyal friend.
Yeah.
Who has time to talk about this shit in another language at 2:30 in the morning? This is fucking awful. I don't even speak your language, sir, but it sounds boring. Hang up and let this guy sleep, please.
Yeah, leave him alone, dude. I'm speaking for your buddy. Leave him alone.
Yeah. Your buddy wants to go to bed now. Stop.
Yeah.
That's so funny, Nate. That's the truth, man. If you've never been to New York, you guys, that is every cab. I don't even think there was one cab where the guy's in the front seat not talking to anybody.
No.
I swear I'll get into a cab and then he'll start talking. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And then I go, oh, fuck, not me. My bad. Sorry, keep talking. Yeah. The worst, bro.
I love the.
Oh, sorry.
I'm in Nashville. No. I'm in Nashville. We've been. I moved back here. I've been back here 5 or 6 years now. Which I'm from Nashville. So.
Yeah. So you moved to LA. Stuff started popping off for you.
I was in New York. I was in Chicago, New York. You know, one of the first times I think I met you was I opened for Angela Johnson for a long time, and you came in and she was doing the club. First time I opened for Angela Johnson, we did New Faces together, me and her. Wow. And then she asked me if I wanted to open for her, and like I just I have no idea, no concept of selling tickets or anything at that time. And I'm like, we're both doing New Faces. Like, why would I open for you? And then I go, and she sells out 8 shows at Houston Improv, and I'm like,
so funny.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, you mean open for it? My bad.
Yeah, all right, I get it.
I could have sworn last week we're both trying to make it. Got it. Yeah, I'll open for you. I'll do it all year.
Yeah, and then I did it. I did it for 2-3 years. I did it forever.
That's crazy. I respect. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I say that's when you came. It was like Brea or something.
Oh, nice.
And you came down as first I met you.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah.
That was good times, man. Looking back at those, how fast it happens too. You know, I remember in Chicago, and I'm playing not the Improv in Schaumburg, but the small one. I always forget the name of it. Zanies.
Yeah.
Playing Zanies and selling that thing out, and I thought it's done. Yeah. I made it. I'm at the ceiling. I am at the ceiling. There's nothing else past this room. It's packed. We had to add shows. The place sits like maybe 105 people, right? So the following year I get booked at Schaumburg, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this, bro? There's 600 seats in here. That's 6 Zanies. What are you talking about?
That was the first club I ever did comedy at. I started in Chicago. I moved to Chicago from Nashville, and the first club I ever got on stage was at Zanies, downtown Zanies.
Amazing. What's the manager's name again? God, I love him, man.
Bert.
Dude, I love him, man. He was so good to me. He was so good to me, and I felt bad that I had to leave. But it's a small room. We had to grow. So
you grow, and like I remember. Now that I know, like going through some of that stuff as I've gotten to theaters, and as you go up, they all want you. That's one of the worst things. Is the hardest things, is because you have a relationship with a lot of these people.
Yeah.
And so like sometimes they book you. Like I still have friends that are like outside. They're like, hey man, you want to come down to my whatever thing?
Yeah.
And you're like. Yeah, it just doesn't work like that anymore. Like, I feel like they make you feel bad. You're like, all right, whatever, dude. You're like, dude, you're trying to do the same thing I'm trying to do. Don't be mad at me. Like,
stop it. Yeah. I have a contract within 100 miles. I can't play this venue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I can't do Breaking Bread Wednesdays with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay? I can't do it.
The local wine bar. You can't. I'm sorry. All right.
I'm
too
sorry.
big for wine bars.
I can't play cheese and wine. I can't do it. Like a catchy phrase, cheese and wine.
Yeah.
They give you the whole guilt trip. Like, oh,
100.
It's cool, man. It's cool. Whatever, man.
Whatever, man. It's cool.
They all want to talk to us sometimes over our like managers or agents, which I was always, we did that. That's all we did before. but it's like almost like, because I can get talked into anything, dude. I've talked myself out of money on a phone call, like just where I don't even know what the person's like really saying, and then I'm like, yeah, that probably makes sense, and then I just lose like $5,000.
Oh, for sure.
And I was mad at my agent. I was like, why would you let me get on the call with that guy? Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, because I'm inside a Starbucks. I didn't hear the whole
I was trying to be polite, people.
I'm trying to be polite, man. There's a line in front of me.
I feel like I could give the phone to one of those guys in Starbucks. I would trust those guys. They're so loud. If you just be like, hey, I need more money out of this guy. I'm not even going to tell you the context, but I believe you could get it.
You could do
They
this.
for sure could work it out.
Oh, 100. They would negotiate a deal with more money and like a year's supply of like coffee being sent to the troops. 100%.
The best agents in the world.
Best agents in the world.
There.
Our baristas.
Our baristas, yeah.
Just waiting. They're just waiting for their shot.
Just wait for that shot, man. Did you see Brian down there? Did you see Brian?
I did. What's up, Brian?
What's up, Nate?
I know Brian forever. We worked.
That's why I pointed him out.
I know. We were at Comics in New York, which was.
We were at New Faces with you and Angela. I think that was 07.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, Comics. Did you ever play Comics in New York, Joe? Like it was like the best.
Yeah,
it was. It was the one. Remember, Brian? Like they would pay. Like we always got paid like the most. And it was so great of a club that everybody kind of was like, this can't last forever.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what I said when I got my check.
So
I'm like,
good.
this might be the last one.
We were overpaying. We were overpaying because Caroline's was trying to beat us out of business. So we had to pay people so that they would play at our place. Yeah.
That's where I wrote my first special. I wrote "Don't Make Them Angry" at Comics.
Wow, really?
Yeah, man,
cool.
That was fun. Mm-hmm. I
saw some pictures from when you performed there, actually.
Yeah,
with that Chinese restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah,
those are good times, man. That was the meatpacking district.
That's right.
Woo, those are good times, man.
Yeah,
I miss those times, man. I miss the rooms.
No, it's missing the hanging. Like, were you in LA the whole time? You've been in?
Nope, I started in Vegas. I used to rent venues, Nate. That was my hustle. I'd rent out theaters and fly out comics and get sponsors. I'd have banners on the stage. I'd put advertisements on the back of the tickets. This is at Kinko's when you had to cut them with like a straight cutter. Yeah. And all my tickets ended up being at an angle because I just didn't place. All my flyers were on like a colored piece of paper because I needed colored flyers, so it'd be like green, orange, but black ink. Yeah, that was the hustle back then, man. So that was my start. How did you start, Nate?
I was in Chicago first. I took nothing but Chicago, then New York. I started exactly like Pete Holmes in Crashing. Like, I mean, I started with Pete at Boston Comedy Club, handing out flyers. Where you would do that. I've been to, I didn't at that level, but one of my good buddies, Dustin Chapin, ran Boston Comedy Club, and I would help him do that. And we would go to Kinko's and cut. They had flyers. And you would cut them, and like they was always colored flyers. Yeah. And we stood on the corner and would hand them out, be like, "Hey, we got a great comedy show," and try to get people to come into the show. Wow. And you would get to go up at like 2 a.m. And then I had like a day job at like FedEx, just packing boxes. So I would like just stay up and go there at 5 a.m. And then you sleep during the day, and then kind of repeat and go from there. It was like those are, and I was like, when I talked to a lot of comics about like goals and stuff, like, or, whatever. And I would say like, you have to like, your goals can't be too high. Like you can never like be at the beginning, just being like, oh, I want to be, you playing in the Forum and like all this. Your goal can't be that. Your goal has to be like, I used to be just get off this corner. That's all I was like, I do not want to hand this flyer out. Yeah. How do I stop that? It's just immediate little goals to then you're like, I want to go up at 11 p.m. instead of 2 a.m. That would be wonderful.
That's so true.
Were you good at barking, Nate?
I was the worst.
Oh,
I mean, someone could come to me and be like, I don't know. I was like, you're probably right, dude. This is definitely a good show.
Yeah.
Like, and I would just let them go. I hated it. I hated every second of it.
Just give me the flyer back. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
could we?
Thank you.
They would throw it away in front of. They throw it away in front of your face.
Oh, that's the worst.
And they just grab it and then they just drop it on the ground. You're like, just hand it back to me. Like,
you know what's so you know what's funny, Nate? I had no shame in my flyer game. Like when I was at the Laugh Factory, I used to stand, like, I'll do my set and then I would run out to the front where the valet is, and I would literally just hand my flyers out to every single person that came to the show, right? And this is like, you know this, Brian, I would hand them out to everybody, right? And then when everyone got in their car, the second show's in, flyers all on the ground. It's me picking up the flyers. Like, you know how much this shit cost me?
Yeah, yeah.
I had no shame, man. I didn't care, dude. That's the hustle. You know, you put out, it's a numbers thing. You know what I mean? I keep telling, like, these comics, the young ones, I'm like, it's a numbers game, bro. You hand out 10,000 flyers, 2 people go home with that flyer, you won. You won. You know, it may be only 2 people, but those are going to be your biggest and most loyal fans. Those 2 right there. They're going to put that flyer up in their cubicle. They're going to go on your website. They're going to do whatever it takes to promote you for free. So I didn't care if I saw 10,000 flyers on the ground. As long as 2 went home with it, I won, man. It was costly, but fuck it.
Yeah, at the beginning, it all costs money. Like, you're not like, I remember someone asked me once, this kid, he was like, when could I quit my day job? And he hadn't even started comedy yet. And you're like, man, if you're going with that mindset, you just don't even start. Yeah. Like, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, if my wife, I've been married, we've been together the whole time I've done comedy. So my wife once told me, she's like, if you can just make $1,000 a month, I think we'll be like, you know, 12. So if I make $12,000 a year, I mean, and I'm not in high school. This is like, I'm in my mid-20s. Like, this is, you know.
This isn't Foot Locker.
This is real.
It's my dream.
Yeah, my dream.
Her idea of your dream being successful is worse than a Foot Locker employee. If you can make, and hear me out, $10 a day,
somehow
$300 a month.
Yeah.
We can have a baby. Like, what?
We can have a baby. Yeah. And you can make 20 one day and none the other day. It doesn't matter how you get.
It doesn't matter how you do it. Just hear me out, honey. Just move your office to Starbucks, and we're good.
That is support. Man. That's support, man.
That's a beautiful woman, is what that is, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
Someone from she was there from the very beginning. So I mean, there was no money.
That's awesome, man.
She get married. Sorry.
Now I make $12,000 a year. So,
and you're still at Starbucks. God.
This is not even my office. This is just someone else's house. You're going to see the guy come up and be like, all right, man, that's enough. And I'm like, all right, I appreciate it, dude. I'm sorry. And then I just leave.
That's so funny. That's good. That's someone else's that's someone else's posters. It says Brian Regan. It says Brian Regan on all the posters.
Time's up, man. You gotta. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's so dope.
You know, there's never a bad time to save money, obviously, but now more than ever in this very weird time, you've got to find smart ways to put some cash back in your pocket, and it can make a big difference. And one way to do that is simply save on the things that you already pay for, like home insurance. If you own a home, reshopping your home insurance rates with Policy Genius could save you a good chunk of change. And the best part is you barely need to lift a finger to do it. All right. So this is what you do. You go to policygenius.com and answer a few quick questions about yourself and your property. Then Policy Genius will compare your policy against options from top insurers to make sure you're getting the right home insurance coverage at the best possible price. But who doesn't like money?
Exactly, man. You know what else is more important than money? Time, Brian. Yeah. Time. Yeah. Time is more important than money. And it costs money when you spend a lot of time going from building to building, office to office, figuring out which insurance policy is better than the other. I don't have time for that, Brian. How can we cut that time?
Well, Policy Genius finds you a better rate than what you're currently paying. They'll do all the work to get you switched. And they can also do it for cars too. And so if you'd like to put a little cash back in your pocket right now, see how much you can save by reshopping your home insurance rates at PolicyGenius.com.
PolicyGenius.com. That's PolicyGenius.com. Spend less time and make more money finding the best policy for your home.
I got a question for our listeners. Is there something interfering with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals? BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. I don't know about you, but therapy has improved my life so much. Like, I go for myself, my wife and I go, and we've learned how to argue better. Like, and you have to be able to argue well if you want to be happy at home.
Exactly. Arguing is very healthy, and talking is very healthy. A lot of people don't have people to talk to. A lot of you guys are alone. A lot of you females are alone, and you just want to just get some stuff off your chest. Sometimes it's better to say it to someone that doesn't know anything about you. Get that honest opinion and just let them listen to your voice, what it is that's bothering you, and let them give you an honest opinion.
And give you those tools so that you can live a healthy life and communicate properly with the people around you. And going to BetterHelp, you can start communicating with a therapist in under 24 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not stealth help. It is professional counseling done securely online.
How does that work? How does that work, Brian?
Well, they have a whole broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many areas, and it's available to clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. It's basically online therapy. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, so you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy.
That's one thing that I never liked is actually going into a waiting room and waiting, and then seeing another person walk out of the room, and then you have to walk past them kind of like, I don't have anyone to talk to as well. I like the privacy of this particular program, and I think a lot more people would enjoy it as well.
Yeah, you don't want to walk in with that stamp on your forehead like, I got problems. Problems.
Especially if the guy who comes out looks kind of like you. Like, There was the guy in front of me last time I was in the therapy. Like, he came out, he was kind of a chubby beardo, and I was like, motherfucker. I'm like, I guess you have a type, huh?
Yeah, that's funny. You just sit down and look at the therapist and go, whatever he said.
Whatever.
I'll give you the same answers.
It got a laugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, with this place, you'll get timely and thoughtful responses. You can do the video sessions. You don't have to do the waiting room. They're committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed, because you need to have a really good counselor who's a good fit for you. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. And here's how they do it. Visit their website and read their testimonials. They're posted. There's all these testimonials about all these people who've been helped. And you go to betterhelp.com/koypond. That's BetterHelp, HELP, and join the over 800,000 people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. It's a special offer for Koy Pond listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/koypond.
Congrats with all your success, Nate.
Hey, you too, man. Look, watching you, you're selling all these things. Getting into the world of selling these theaters and seeing actually ticket sales. And so you see, actually making people come see you. So I've had a year of probably where people, they know you. They're here to see you. Seeing people in a line, when you walk for the theater and you see them buying popcorn or drinks. And
I love it.
You're like, dude, I remember going to shows and doing all this stuff. So, and then where you're at and selling, as big of the places you're selling, you're obviously, we, look at you too now going we're chasing you. And that's, but I love seeing it, because I think there's a small group of guys that are comics that are doing it's about stand-up comedy. What we do is stand-up comedy.
Yes.
You might go do other things. Stand-up comedy, it's like if they describe you, stand-up comedy is always David Letterman is never really mentioned as a stand-up comic. Not saying anything but it's I love Jay Leno because Jay Leno was he never gave it up. And so it's there's a group of us that it's now you're selling these tickets and you were actually stand-up's a cool thing.
Yeah,
it's more cool than it ever was.
100%, dude. I hear you on that one too, man. It doesn't matter anything. I said this in an interview one time. Whatever happens after this is just a bonus. It's kind of like when you get a banana split and they're like, hey, we threw a couple extra cherries. That's all that shit is. I didn't really need the cherries, but I'll take them. And that's what this is. It's like, I'll always have stand-up. I'm gonna go out like George Carlin, baby. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna do a set and then I'm gonna die. It's like, that's it. And I'm not even joking. I'm gonna shoot my last special and die. And that's what I will. I will die on that stage, man. This was my dream. The day I saw Eddie Murphy do Delirious, the day I got on the phone and used my mom's credit card to buy tickets to go see Raw live when I went and saw Eddie live at the Coliseum in 1985. I was 15. And I looked around that venue and I'm like, this is what God wants me to do. This is what I'm going to do. And man, people don't understand the passion that we have behind this, man. It's like they look at every other job and compare it to like stand-up. No other job in entertainment is like ours. It is the worst and the hardest and most rewarding. When I say rewarding, I'm not saying financially. I'm just talking like emotionally. It is the most rewarding. You will never receive what we get when we say goodnight. There's just no way. There's no way because of the amount of work that we do. There's no way.
Making people laugh. Like I was like, when you hear people in the crowd, like, and they can't breathe because they're laughing or they can't, like, making someone laugh is very hard to do. I know everybody's funny and everybody can make people like kind of chuckle like we were talking about earlier, but make it like really getting someone invested into what you were saying and like having silence in a room too when there's 2,000 people and no one's talking. You got them completely quiet. You're like, you know how hard it is to keep that amount of people paying attention and not on their phone. And like, there's the art to that is, you know, not that we ever say any of us are artists, because comics we're always like, you know. But like, I do agree. It's like what we do, we get the least respect for it. No one cares what we do.
I mean, think it's easy. They always think it's easy. They think it's easy because and it's crazy because, and I love that you said artists because we do shy away from that. We do, we're not artists, but we do. We literally have an empty canvas at the beginning of that show, and we slowly paint that picture, man. It's, you know what I mean? It's slowly, and then at the end of that show, boom, there's this painting on the wall. And I know that's, you know, it's cheesy what I just did, but it's true, man. Because if you do two shows on the same night, and after that first show, you're literally in the green room, high as shit. We are so high from what we just received from that first show. And immediately we're like, fuck, we got to start again. Like literally, like from zero. Like we go from 1,000,000% like right down to ground zero again. And we have to start that whole fucking thing over. It's like someone took that painting and just wiped it off and went, hey, Nate, you ready to start painting?
Yeah.
And like,
and just leave it up there, dude.
Just leave it up there. Yeah. Just let the second crowd come in and look at it. Why the fuck did you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I'm in Starbucks.
Yeah. I left, dude. I left
already.
I love like it's like talking to when you have to go out, when you got in front of the crowd and you're creating all this stuff. I mean, people don't realize too, is like for us to know jokes work, we don't like music. Sometimes music drives me crazy because I think people they're watching any dumb young musician that they go find. They go, I'm going to some band. It's nobody's ever heard of this guy, and everybody will venture out. Comics, you have to become the most famous before someone finally goes, oh, I think I know that guy.
No shit, man.
That's how so high we have to get.
Yep. And it's not high enough.
And it's still not.
Nope.
It's still not. You're still just trying stuff. Yep. And you go somewhere that's like, oh, I'm doing a golf tournament for my high school. I only went to high school. It's my only alumni, so that's where all my money goes. It's just to high school. And so the golf tournament is called the Nate Bargatze Golf Tournament. And
hey, thanks for inviting me.
Oh, dude, I sent the invite out. I don't know what happened. My guy at Star, did you not send that? I was asking him.
That's just another guy sitting at a booth next to you.
Well, you know, he has got into my email since we've been sitting here. So, so I'm doing this thing, and I was like taking pictures of the people that were doing it. So this kid comes up, and I'm taking pictures, and the kid is like, you know, and I'm not trying to say like I'm anybody, but like this kid was nervous to meet me, and you can feel him kind of like shaking. He's just excited. He's like, me and my mom watched you a ton, blah blah blah, all that stuff. As I'm taking this picture, another guy goes, "Hey, what's up, man? Hey, is you still doing that comedy thing?" Oh. He's asking me that he's playing in a golf tournament named after me. Like, it's like, that's the disconnect. That's what we have to deal with constantly.
That is so true.
It's just someone that's like, you still doing it, man? You still bouncing? Yeah. I was like, yeah, still bouncing around, you know, trying to make it. Like, as this kid can't believe he's meeting me, that guy can't believe I'm even still doing what I'm trying to do.
How annoying is that? Do you think they're doing that on purpose, or they don't know what to say to you and they say the dumbest shit? Like,
I think people don't know. I think people are in their lives, and like it was like a guy probably 55, 60. Like, I just don't think he's like paid attention. Like, he's just, you know, I mean,
it's not respected on the same level either. It's just not.
But when they pay for a Nate Bargatze ticket, right? And they're in a venue that they paid for per ticket, right?
Yeah.
And they look at the venue and they go, wow, there's about 2,500 people in this venue. Wow. Like, that's got to be in their head. Who is that going to? Like, but they'll still walk up to you, because this has happened to me, man. Oh, bro. I'll play the perfect example. Forum, right? Person will walk up to me and go like this. This is the same fucking copy. Ready? Bro, keep it up. What the fuck?
You're almost there.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. Keep it up. And it sucks because you can't respond like that.
Keep it up for the second show I sold out? What do you want me to keep it up for? Like,
what the fuck? Yeah. That was 14 of 28,000.
Yeah, right.
Keep it. Hey, man. Yo. Hey, man.
I think
keep it up.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah,
thank you. Am I? Yeah.
Thank you so much. I was going to quit tonight.
Yeah. I thought this is ridiculous.
It's because everybody,
I don't get it.
Everybody thinks they're funny, so everybody's still in the back of their mind.
But are they being funny, Andre? I don't think they're being funny.
No,
with the straightest face.
No, I mean, they in the back of their mind, they're thinking, I could do that. I make people.
Yeah, I crack people up at the office.
I can do that. In the back of their mind, they still think that.
They do, don't they?
Yeah.
There's also this weird thing where like actors are like thought of as like more artistic when they're just fucking reading somebody else's words
right.
and doing voices.
Right.
You did a funny voice and now you get Oscars, and like comedians are like, you know, who actually
created
something
nothing
for an hour.
Created nothing. The idea of creating so that, I mean, the idea that writers don't get as much as or more than the actors.
Absolutely.
Like, you know how hard it is to write. Like I shot a pilot that went nowhere, of course. Like, but like when I was doing it, having to run and write, I mean, it was every day for 50 days. I stayed in a hotel for 50 days in Beverly Hills, right next to 20th, Fox 20th. And we had to rewrite the script, do all these auditions, and you have everything's the way.
Wow, you went through that whole process?
The entire process.
Wow.
And then we shot a pilot, the whole thing. Then it's so crazy because this is how crazy Hollywood is. Like they spend $1 million just to go, no.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't even make sense.
I had a couple. Wait, did you shoot the pilot?
Yeah.
Oh,
I had that Fallon's company, right?
Yeah. No. That was another one. This was.
How many pilots you got?
I've only shot one pilot. I've sold like 6 shows. Like,
man. Those are the worst feeling, man. I had a pilot shot, complete pilot, man. And literally, I think they watched it for about 30 seconds and call it, hey, man, we're going to go ahead and pass. I'm like, you could have said that 9 months ago.
Yeah.
9 months ago. I left the road for this shit. I just had one. I had an animated series on True TV, and they sold True TV to TNT. And the minute they sold to TNT, I looked at my manager and went, they're about to pull this shit. And we already had a writer's room. I had a building. I had 6 offices. Yeah. I had and to tell all those writers that it was canceled, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, it just makes no sense. Hollywood is crazy. So if you guys are thinking about doing stand-up to make it in Hollywood, just quit. Quit in your head right now. You gotta love this shit. You gotta love this. If you don't
love the process.
then just quit. If your end goal is to get a TV show, go fuck yourself. I don't know if you know this, but Nate is at Starbucks right now.
I'm at Coffee Bean. I can't. I'm not even good enough to go to Starbucks, dude.
You're at Coffee Bean. He's at Coffee Bean with a script, waiting for Eddie Murphy to walk in.
Yeah. How was that seeing Raw like live? Like, because I always say he's about the only phenom. Chappelle would be a close phenom.
He is Michael
Eddie
Jordan.
Murphy was.
He was Michael Jordan.
He was 22 or something, right? Like,
he was 21 when he shot Delirious. I think he was like 24, 25 when he shot Raw.
That's so young.
Are you kidding me?
So young.
But when you hear a story that he was going to like New York, during middle school with a briefcase filled with candy, when you hear those stories, you're like, oh, he's full of shit. And then you see that this guy hits an HBO special out the park the way he did in Delirious. You're like, yeah, this guy's been doing it since he was 10, 11. I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah. He's a 20-year vet,
That's
he's
10 years. He found his voice at 21. Yeah. Of course he did. Yeah. The guy's a phenom. And what I mean by like the comparison with Michael Jordan is it was more than basketball for Michael, and it was more than comedy for Eddie Murphy, because Eddie, like Richard Pryor was a genius, but what Eddie did was he made it for like he made kids like us like want to watch it. I remember Richard Pryor was something that I found out from my neighbor's father. He had the tapes, and he was like, hey, you like comedy, you got to listen to this right here, man. And I was like, okay. And I was listening to Richard Pryor and loving it. It was still a little old for me. It was still not old, but it was just more adult. You know what I mean? Like it was deep shit. Eddie made the
cultural shift.
It was just amazing. Yeah. Just him talking about his Uncle Gus starting a fire. It's like, everyone has that uncle. It's like I started a fire with gasoline. I've done that. Like, I don't know. There was something about Eddie that just brought in the masses, man. And that's what I mean. Like that's why he was Michael Jordan, man. He brought in the masses. Everyone wanted to be a part of Eddie's world. And bro, when I bought those tickets, I truly felt like because, when I started comedy in 89, man, it wasn't for young kids like it is now. Like, young kids love stand-up comedy now. Yeah. And that's due to social media and everything else. But when I was doing it, it was like you had to have HBO to see to see Bill Cosby or Whoopi Goldberg Comic Relief or any of those things. And so it was an old person thing. That was an old person activity. That was what someone in their 40s and they're married. We don't want to go to the bar. Let's go to a comedy club. That's what that was in the 80s. And when I bought those tickets to see Raw, man, it was me and my best friend, William, and he didn't want to go. He's like, wait, it's not a movie? I'm like, motherfucker, no, this is him live. Are you kidding me? And I used my mom's credit card. This is when Ticketmaster was on the phone, and they used to be inside like department stores. And I called. And by the way, if I was a kid with no accent, they would have been like, hey, kid, put your mom on the phone. But my mom had an accent, and they weren't about to question this accent.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'd like to purchase 2 tickets to see Eddie Murphy. Yes, ma'am. How many? 2, please. Your best ones, please. And so I got those tickets. My mom drove us to the Seattle Coliseum, and that was 15 rows from the stage, bro. Damn. It's the amazing concert I've ever seen, man. Sold out, man. The Sonics never even sold out the Coliseum. You know that, Dre. You remember how it was back then? Yeah. And by the way, Dre went to high school with me, Nate. He married my sister.
Oh, he's locked in.
In the fan.
He's locked in. Yeah. So, he's also at Starbucks, by the way. But I remember when he walked out and just, like, I said this in an interview one time, man. Eddie Murphy was rock star. And the reason why, like, rock star, he was Bon Jovi, he was AC/DC, he was rock star. Because, if you watch Raw, he comes out with this silhouette of him behind a red screen, and it's just a black silhouette of him holding his hand. I tell everybody that those red screens were actually monitors, and they played a montage of all his highlights from Saturday Night Live and all the movies. And it was just like all these little one-liners and like all these jokes that he did. Buttweek, Gumby, James Brown, and then Beverly Hills Cop, and then all this stuff. Then it started speeding up real fast to music, and then bam, it hit red. It just turned red, and he was standing behind it. Bro, That fucking house exploded, bro. I've never seen, I don't think I'll ever see that again, especially for stand-up. The way those people acted, people ran up to that stage, man. People were throwing shit, flowers and shit. It was rock star shit, man. It really was, man. And that was hands down the best concert I've ever gone to in my life, man.
So you were at the taping?
The taping was in New York. This was the tour.
Okay,
this
is
before he taped it. And it was at the Coliseum. But man, he came out in an all leather suit, no shirt underneath. It was like a cardigan, a black leather cardigan, and you see his chest. And then he had these driver's gloves on with a ring that was just lighting up the room. Like none of it made sense, bro. None of it. I remember watching it in my head. I'm like, you know how hard wet leather is to take off? Like, you ever chamois your car with something leather like that? Even that's hard to just do. He's got to take it off his body tonight, man. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So that was my love and my passion. I knew right then and there. I was like, I'm playing this. I'm playing that Coliseum, Dre. You know that. I told Dre that because I had to play the hockey arena in Kent, Washington, and because the Seattle Coliseum is under construction, and so I played at Kent. But I even told the people at Kent, man, I'm like, I have to play that Coliseum. It's personal. It's personal. Like that's where the king went up. I have to walk out on stage and do it. Yeah. Anyways, that's my story. I'm sorry.
Well, to go there. Well, I love talking about all this. To go there and like, I mean, you talk about the Ticketmaster. I mean, kids are getting Ticketmaster now for you. Like, it's to go from being in that crowd to that. I saw Seinfeld right when I started in TPAC in Nashville. I remember Brian Regan, like, because I started in 2003. And so I was at the very end of, like, my first tapes are VHS tapes. Like, that was it was before. Right before. Yeah. But I remember my dad like told me to buy this CD, Brian Regan CD, and he found it at it was right when I started. It was at he bought it at a truck stop, and he just remember saying like I had to pull over. I was laughing so hard. Yeah. And that always like stuck with me. And then I heard Brian Regan, and that's when I first heard Brian Regan. I was like, how's this guy not the most famous person live? Like, it just didn't make sense.
That's so crazy, right?
Yeah, it's so crazy. So you're amazing. Like, unbelievable. And then, but that phrase of like, had to pull over is like, I've seen, if you see someone say that about you, it just like brings back to like, because at the beginning, ain't nobody's pulling over for your comedy in 2003. they were trying to hit you. Yeah.
Hey, Nate, no one's pulling over and going, hey, let's put this VHS tape in and watch it.
Anybody?
His name's Nate. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called $1,000 a month, and I've made it.
Yeah. Will you ever go back and watch any of your old? Like,
it's hard, man.
It's very hard.
It's hard to watch, bro. I'll tell this. Okay, so I have this videotape that I still cherish to this day, and it says Joe Koy on it. It's in my garage. In fact, I just saw it yesterday, and it's the actual tape, Andre. When that BET on the road, Comic View, when it was on the road, Andre. And so there was this thing called BET's Comic View way back in the day. And they toured, Nate. They toured the road. And they went to this country restaurant. It was a country western restaurant. It was kind of like, country music's answer to Hard Rock Cafe. It was called Country Star. It was supposed to be a chain, but it didn't go fucking anywhere. Like Willie Nelson was with the money behind it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we got something for you too, man. It's called Country Star. And it just had all these albums and like memorabilia. It was a cool venue. It was it's where the Mandalay Bay is now. That used to be a Country Star a restaurant. And BET's Comic View rented out that spot because they had the stage. It was beautiful. The whole theme of Country Stars, they were going to bring in country acts and perform there. And so it was a restaurant, but it also turned into like a venue. It was beautiful. So anyways, BET's Comic View rented it out. I don't know why. They had Motown Cafe at another restaurant, but they chose Country Stars. So I swear to God. No one understood. Even the people in the theater were like, why do y'all just get Motown Cafe? It would have made more sense. So anyways, long story short, I finagled my way into this venue. I was working at a dolphin habitat, and I got in. I asked the security to let me in. I had this fake tape and all this shit, and a fake videotape of my shit, fake resume. And I told the security guard, I'm a local comic. Can I go up? And anyways, he went and got the promoter. Her name's Yvette Anderson. I still know her to this day. And she goes, all the comics aren't, we already booked our comics, but next time we come back, I'll hold on to this tape and we'll make sure you can open next time. Because I go, can I just open for you guys? Long story short, I'm sitting in the booth and I see this camera. You got to remember, this is like 1996 or whatever, right? 96. Yeah. And there's this huge Canon 3-chip digital. It was like this huge. It looked like a studio broadcast camera. It was like maroon and beige. And I just remember seeing that at like Fry's or something. And I just remember how expensive it was. And I was like, yo, they're doing something right. Look at this camera. Like, yeah, this is a real show. Anyways, I'm sitting in this booth, right? And I'm just happy that she let me see this, because I just watch BET's Comic View every night. And now here I am at the live show, and I'm just sitting in this booth with my stupid ass resume. And she walks up to me. She goes, all the comics aren't here. And everyone's yelling, by the way. The whole crowd's like screaming, like, start the show! It's like 8:45. The show started at 8. Like, stop this, motherfucker! And like yelling, like, and then she looks at me and she goes, they're not here. Did you want to go up and do 5 minutes? And I was like, as long as you can record it on that camera right there, let's go. And she goes, let me set it up. And she set that camera up. So anyways, I had that videotape. And I remember that was my videotape I used to hand to everybody. I used to hand it because I killed that night, Nate. I fucking, you'll see it. You'll see people standing. Like back in the day, they used to do this thing, raise the roof. So when I said goodnight, this one black lady was like raising the roof. So that was my tape. And oh, by the way, that's how I got BET's Comic View, Nate. So when I walked off stage, there was this comic named Bo P. And he was supposed to be the MC that night, but he was late. And then I got off stage and he was like, hey, man, who's this kid? And then Yvette was like, oh, just some local kid. He's like, you ever watch BET's Comic View? I go, yes, I love it. And then he goes, you on BET's Comic View. I'm going to put you on BET's Comic View.
Yeah.
And that month, they flew me out to tape BET's Comic View with Gary Owen. That's how I got on BET's Comic View.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy story because I was literally fucking giving tour guides for dolphins. Like 5 hours prior. It was crazy. But anyways, I had that videotape and I watch it now and I cringe. I'm like, fuck. This is the worst set in the world. They just wanted something on stage that day.
Yeah. Hey,
the crowd
they were trying to get a dolphin and they're going, all right, we'll just do him then.
Yeah, just throw him out there.
Yeah.
Give us something. We paid for this shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, long story short, I still have that videotape, man. It's
that's
crazy,
being
man.
around. Like that's what I always say too. Is like you got to be around. So many comics. Like I feel like especially guys or comics starting now, they don't know the aspect. You're like, yeah, dude, you got to be around and hang out. And sometimes you don't get up, and sometimes you do get up. You can't just look at it like, well, if I don't get on stage, it was a waste of night. You're like, most of the nights were just me being around. Like you just have to hang out, and you're at least soaking it all in.
Yeah, man. That's
it's also funny too that all these people were late, like for this taping, and just people are not showing up. You're like,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
They were all at the motel. They were all at the motel.
The Motown Cafe.
Yeah.
That's funny, Dre. Even they went to the Motown Cafe. They're like, motherfucker, why are we at the Country Star?
Yeah. I had a bunch of when I was the first New Year. You remember White Boys in the Hood? They shot it was on Showtime.
Yep, I thought that was Puffy's. I thought Puffy did that.
I don't know. It was Talent hosted it. Do you ever know Talent?
Yep, Talent. Yep.
So Talent used to host a show in New York at the Improv Broadway Comedy Club now, and I didn't really know Talent, but it was a huge show, and I remember everybody wanted to get on that show. But so he's hosting the White Boys in the Hood for Showtime. And one of my great buddies, Big J Ogerson, was on the show.
Love Big J.
So we all went, and Big J was always like kind of right above us. He did B2 Comic View. He always was getting some TV stuff, so we would get a tag along with him and just go get to see that process and see how all of it's done. And so Talent was telling another comic, Mike Vecchione, our buddy Mike was there, and Talent told Vecchione, he's like, I'm going to get you on tonight. And like, so Mike keeps thinking he's going to get on. By the way, you can't just put someone on a TV taping. Like there's like rules.
Yeah.
Like when you look back at it, and at the moment we're like, dude, you're gonna get on Showtime. And then like now you're like, hey, it's like a union, dude. Like just throw someone on. Like,
yeah, man. This is going paid to the world. Maybe we should look at his set first.
Yeah, dude. Becchio just kept going to the side of the stage thinking talent was about to be like, all right, come on out. And then they just keep going, talent, why do you think you can just throw whoever on? It's not your show. It's not a regular show, dude.
Yeah, like, you're not the casting director. Yeah. You're the MC.
Yeah.
And have a contract signed.
Yeah,
I mean,
haven't approved yet.
Insurance. There's a million reasons why. Like, we have a system in place. We've already done auditions.
Yeah.
I got a couple other guys I want to throw on, if you don't mind. And you're like, what? Yeah, you can't just do that, dude.
Yeah, you can't look at the director at Showtime and go, stretch.
I met a guy in the alley. He seemed like a good guy. I want to get him on and change his life with the Showtime.
Man. Yeah, he calls himself the homeless comic. It's got to be good.
It's got to be good. He's good. That's so funny.
That's so funny, man. Those are the best stories, dude. That's why, you guys, anyone watching, it's a long road. It's a long, long road, man. But you'll enjoy the journey.
You're either going to make it at 20 or 40.
Yeah,
no one makes it in the middle.
Yo, that is so fucking true. That is so true, Nate.
Yeah.
I never looked at it that way. That is so fucking true. I never, ever looked at it that way. And you're so right. 1,000,000%. You either make it at 20 or you make it at 40. If you are 28, you got 12 more years, goddammit. And that's the truth.
No one's 30 and just like pops up like.
No one pops off at 31 and a half. Nobody pops off at 31 and a half. I was at a dolphin habitat at 31 and a half. Pointing at gray fish, giving them fake names because no one can tell them apart.
The dolphins were telling you, they're like, dude, just give it up, man.
Just
like,
give it up, man.
Just
give it up, man. Swear to God, dude. That's so true, man. I had guys opening for me, Nate, and they popped off in their 20s, you know, and like huge specials, bro. Huge Netflix specials, and I still didn't have one. And I was like, all right, okay, fuck it, you know. And then I didn't land mine until late 40s. So you're right, bro. So don't be deterred by that, you know. Like,
well, that's how they stop the people, because the ones that can't wait it out and just keep plowing ahead.
Yeah, man.
They get frustrated because you want to make it 20. And look, I think the best comedians are the ones that make it at 40.
Yes.
The ones that have to go through it and have all these life experiences, and the ones that are like the ones that can keep producing specials and keep touring and can do comedy forever. Because if you make it at 20 and you become rich and famous, you don't have a regular existence. You don't.
Right.
You really don't. There's no grind. There isn't.
No grind. You need to be older where you're just, I don't know, you can't, you're not like.
Well, by that age, you have so much experience, life experience to pull from, right? If you make it at 20, your life experience becomes this celebrity lifestyle, and it's not as relatable, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
if you make it at 40, you have a POV, whereas if you make it at 20, you have like a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. You got a
you got a thing.
That's why Eddie Murphy is the legend that he is, because he was 20, but he was able to talk to adults. That's why. That's what was so crazy. So when you go back, if I go watch these specials, and then you're like, dude, this is nuts that he's. You know, I'm 41. I know how young 30 is. I know 21 is like. You're a baby.
You're a baby.
Like you don't even.
You're a baby. Like my son is 7. My son is 17. In 4 years, he's shooting an HBO special. Fuck no. Fuck no. He's got. You know how many pairs of underwear are hidden behind the headboard of his bed?
I like that he's gonna have to wait. He's gonna get an offer for it, and he can't. He's like. I don't know, because my loser dad didn't make it till 40, so I gotta wait till 40. Like, he's just mad at you. Like,
So true, man.
You're like, if I don't make it, you don't make it either. We all make it. And you give them a job to the dolphin place. You're like,
yeah. Do that shit.
You do that. Yeah.
Clean that dolphin shit.
Name these fish.
That's so funny, man. God damn, Nate. What's going on now, man? I remember the pilot deal. That was last year.
That was last year.
A podcast now.
I am doing a podcast now. I never did. I did one a long time ago. Right when podcast came out with a buddy, and then we stopped. It was like almost like getting Google stock and then being like, I don't think this is going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then just leaving.
You're working for Apple. You're working for Apple inside the garage going, there's no AC in here.
Hey, Steve, I'm going to bounce, dude. Like, this you guys are crazy.
There's this booming company called Intellivision. I'm going there.
Yeah. I started a podcast called Nateland, and with a couple comics from Nashville. We do it in Nashville, and it's like as touring, like who knows if we're going to even get to go out anymore this year. And so I thought, with all this, the thing that I was jealous of podcasts is this, like being funny. Like, so when we're first starting, we're out every night, and you can do all that kind of stuff in New York or LA. You're at the clubs, you're being funny constantly. Yeah. And then as you get older and start touring, I have a daughter, and like you have family, and it's stuff you just can't do those kind of things. But the muscle of being funny, I think, is so important to keep working, and it's very easy to like lose that.
So for sure.
The thing I loved about the idea of a podcast was, you get to go and be funny, once a week or whatever you end up doing, and that I think is an enormous muscle, and I think it just benefits. I mean, you would know, but like, does it help your writing? Like, it helps you keep that brain active and searching for material.
Keeps you sharp. Keeps you very sharp. That's my whole point of this thing. That's why I don't want to have anything. I don't want any papers next to me. I don't want to know your background or history. Like, literally, the whole point of Koy Po is just like, if we're in the green room and just shooting the shit about whatever topic, because that's what keeps me sharp. You know what I mean? If I can land some stuff, then I'm happy. You know what I mean? And then if I don't land anything, I blame it on the guest.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I go, we had a big snooze fest with Nate Bargatze. It was, I think it's very important for us to, comics are kind of built for this kind of platform.
Yeah, man.
And,
it's so much fun.
It's so much fun, and you get to do it. And so, we started. And, I mean, I can't do anything else. Comedy's dead, so might as well.
Comedy is not dead. Comedy is the only thing that's keeping the world happy right now. So they need us right now. The world needs us, bro. And people are pulling away from the news right now. I haven't turned on the news in over a month. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't like the state of depression that I was in and the addiction that it was. Every single day I had to turn it on to keep up. I don't even want to keep up anymore. I don't give a fuck about the numbers anymore. I don't care. I just want to laugh, man. I don't have time for that much information that's always going to bring me down. I don't want to know it. I just want to laugh right now, man. I just want to be healthy and laugh. And that's what we bring, bro. We really do. This pod means a lot to a lot of people, dude.
I took social media off my phone because it was just where I was like, I just don't care. It's like, it's too much. It's too angry. And then I think it affects the way you can write sometimes is because it's so negative. And then you can end up thinking of stuff that's very negative, very gotcha material, and trying to be and I'm a big I don't use my platform. Platform's always something people talk about, and I am so against using a platform. Wow. I'm a moron. I barely made it out of high school. Should never in a million years listen to me on any opinion on politics. I don't have time to pay attention to them to know. So my job is to just be funny. That's like I said, the mental health aspect for everybody. Yeah. People need a break, man. People need to turn and they come to you and just be like, I just need to not think about this stuff for
escape
an hour. Yeah. Yep. That should be our job as comedians.
That's it.
Me yelling at you on stage going, let me tell you about,
let me tell you about this little dick motherfucker. Oh, God. I heard it already. Yeah. It's nothing different. Is this the remix version of the little dick motherfucker? Yeah. I don't give a... Oh, yeah, you're right, man. Nate, can you please, the reason why I keep, I know it's an easy name, but to me, I have problems saying it. So just teach me the way to say it, please.
We say Bargatze.
Bargatze. Cool, man.
Bargatze.
Yeah. My last name is Koy, and that is fake. That is a nickname for my aunt. The first 3 years of stand-up, when I was doing open mics and shit and restaurants, I used to go up as Joseph Glenn Herbert. And yeah, exactly. And it fucking sucked, man, because everyone would laugh. And everyone would always, like, especially the MCs would always use my name for their little 5 minutes of jokes. And I just had to get rid of the goddamn name, dude. No offense, Dad. I love you. Thank you for bringing me into this world. You just have a shitty name. And you can't make merch with Herbert, but I'm going to try.
You killed all those comics, like, opening bit when you changed their name.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm Joe Koy, and they're like, dude, what am I going to open with?
What am I going to open with? Dude. I had Herb the Perv ready.
Dude, one of the best opening, I remember when I first started, I was in an open mic, and a guy had a ponytail, and he would just do 5 minutes on his ponytail. And then one day he comes to this open mic, his ponytail's cut off. And we're like, what are you going to do, man? And he's like, I got other jokes. So he goes on stage, does one new joke, and then it bombs, and then just goes, so I used to have a ponytail. and then does his ponytail material.
So I used to have a ponytail.
That's so good, dude. That's the best story I've ever heard, bro.
I love it. Comics can't let go of material.
So I used to have a ponytail.
Exactly.
You used to have a ponytail?
Exactly.
So I used to have a ponytail. That's so good, Nate. Hey, Nate, animate that so everyone can have a visual. That shit's so funny. Dude, what the fuck are you going to talk about, bro? Bro. I got some other shit. Killer. So I used to have a ponytail.
Every comic knows that panic when the first joke doesn't work, and then you're like,
shit. Dude, that's so good. Nate Bargatze.
Yes.
What's your podcast, Nate? Plug it.
Nateland, the Nateland Podcast, all things comedy. It's on YouTube, all that stuff, whatever.
Congratulations with all your success, man.
Thank you, man. You as well, dude. We're a big fan, big inspiration watching you, and I enjoy trying to chase people, and so you're one of the guys we're chasing. So
I love it. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Yes, because everything's achievable, man. If one person can do it, that means you can do it. I hate to be all preachy, but it's true.
Keep it up, Nate.
True.
Keep it. No, Nate's already there.
Keep it up.
That's a good callback. I didn't fucking see that. Hey, Nate. Keep it up.
Thank you.
No,
hang in there, Nate.
Nate, you're an absolute beast, man. Your specials are the one that I saw, the unbelievable, man. You're so funny. I love the storytellers, you know what I mean? So your story is a beautiful story, man, and you're a genius on stage, man. You're fun to watch.
Thank you.
I love you, and this is it. After this
is it.
No more Starbucks. You know what I mean?
No more Starbucks.
Yeah. No more pictures hung at Joe's Crab Shack wall.
Yeah. I go take them all down after this.
Andre, why didn't you talk in front of the wood?
I had a feeling this was coming, man.
No, you didn't. Did you really?
No.
Andre usually does the pod in front of his wall. He has a restored
I texted
wall.
him before and asked him. I said, I'm the wood guy, man. Don't you dare step on my face.
You fucking have any restored wood on your wall, buddy. I love you guys. That was so much fun, Nate.
It's awesome, man. Thank you.
Where do they follow you at? On Instagram? Oh, they don't have
Nate
any social
Bargatze. No, I have it. I'm just not on it personally.
Oh, that's dope.
But I have all the stuff. Nate Bargatze is everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only one that exists. There's not two of you.
No.
Yeah. Nate didn't have to write the Nate Bargatze. He didn't have to do that. Or Nate Bargatze the comic. He didn't have to do that.
I don't have to go underscore.
Nate underscore.
Yeah.
Nate Bargatze _2003. He didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
I have to do that. I love you, Nate. Thank you so much.
Love you, buddy. Thank you,
better,
guys.
You better put me on your pod, Nate.
I will. Absolutely.
All right. I love you guys.
Buddy.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.